Hey everybody, how are the 21 days of prayer going? I got a lot of prayer requests. Thank you all for contacting me. I will definitely be praying for all of those requests that I got the other day, and they're still coming in. And so I'm very appreciative and humbled for many of you. For Mary, I'm praying for your full health and restoration. Miss Esther, miss you, girl. Praying for you as well. I've been praying for you for a while. I know that, you've been battling with your health issues for a while, your heart and then your hip surgeries. And so, yes, I'm going to be partnering and praying for your full healing and restoration. There were many people. Miss Jaslyn, you're coming home. Praise God. So Tabitha, I am just so grateful, overwhelmed. And I know that you are too at the response of all those that have been praying for your precious little girl, and her brain surgery went well and she's actually getting to come home. Praise God. So we had, just as these great couple of days just of really fasting and praying and being in the word. And so today, as I was meditating, just kind of pressing in and hearing God say to me, that he really wanted me to talk a little bit about identity today. I think that identity is a huge crisis that we have, especially as women of God. I think that men also sometimes have identity crisis. But for us, I think sometimes we forget who we are and whose we are. And I have been reading through Genesis since starting in January. I got a brand new Bible. Thank you, Amanda and Junior, for that. And so I've been really diving and digging. And I started page 1 because it reads like a story. And I'm at Abraham. And yesterday, I was just sort of pondering some things, and God sort of revealed this to me. When Abraham and Sarah, they lived a long life as a married couple without children. And in Genesis 20, we see that Abraham once again, not just once, but twice, tells the king of that time that Sarah is his sister. He tells everyone that she is not his wife, she is his sister, in order for them not to kill him because she was so beautiful, and they would take her anyway as their wife if they knew that. And so he told everyone that, she was his sister. And this was the second time in Genesis that he had done that, before they had children, of course. But I was just sort of thinking about that. Sarah was a bold woman of God. We see that when Hagar has Abraham's son Ishmael, she becomes abusive towards Hagar. And I don't know about you and how I would feel about any of that, but she's pretty bold. She even later on will ask Abraham to send Ishmael and Hagar away. And so she's bold in asking her husband certain things. But that particular instance, we see that she herself even tells everyone that she is his sister and not his wife. And so she doesn't call him to the carpet on that. And they both agree to say that. And what's so funny is, as I read it, I realized that it wasn't a lie. They weren't necessarily lying, because Abraham goes back and corrects it. When the king comes to him after God has given him a dream and said, hey, that is not your sister, that is your wife, and God has told me this. And he says, I didn't lie to you. She is my half sister. And I was caught, just in a moment thinking about that. I had never really known that. I guess within myself, I thought that was sort of a lie. And it got me thinking about a lot of truths that I tell myself that are really past truths and not really futuristic. And so in my identity of who I am, that is kind of where I went to yesterday in thinking about that. Sometimes I will go along with some truth about me that was said in the past. Sometimes I'll believe it within myself, or someone will remind me of that, and I will blindly just accept that that's what it is. And yet God tells Abraham, that is your wife. That is who she is. And because of that, she has a covenant with me. And so there are these moments within my own life that I have to remind myself who I am. I am a daughter of the Most High God. Yes, I am a wife, and I am a mother, and I have priorities, and I am called to do all sorts of things. But ultimately, I am his daughter, and he loves me. And so because of that, I am an heir to all these things. And I know for Sarah, in her barrenness, I think that's kind of what she struggled with, was an identity crisis, just like many of us. There are places in my life that there are times I feel barren and I don't feel worthy and I don't feel enough. And whatever God has called me just doesn't quite fit. Because in that moment, she didn't feel like a wife. They probably had lived like roommates or brothers and sisters for so long, or she went back to some truth within herself that she believed that she was really only a sister, when honestly, this was more than a sister. She was a wife. She was the one who was going to bear a nation, bear a son, bear the promise that God had given Abraham. And so because of that, I've got to remind myself that yes, there are probably some truths and half-truths and flat-out lies that I believe about me. But at the end of the day, God alone, I am His and He is mine. And there are things that He has called me to do, but there is an identity that I have, not because of what I get to do for God, but because of who I am. He has uniquely made me. He has uniquely made you, friend, wherever you are today. I hope that in these 21 days of prayer, in your breath prayers, as you surrender, as you ask God to use you, that you don't second guess that, because I think that's what it is. A lot of times we second guess, can God really use me? Am I really here on purpose? And all of those things that we tell ourselves. You absolutely are here on purpose. You are uniquely made, perfectly placed, and fully equipped to do all that God will call you to do today. And He can use you. He can use you in your family. He can use you at your job. He can use you at the supermarket with a random person right there next to you, or maybe the cashier, my friend, might need a hello or a recognition of some kind. Every single moment of every single day, God has ordained us and ordained our steps. So He can use you. He can use you in mighty ways, in small ways. He can use you if we would just allow Him to. So wherever you are today, friends, I just pray the identity of Christ over you today. And I want to continue praying for you in these 21 days. So let me know how I can continue to do that. And I love all of you. God bless. Bye.